I've had a lot of people ask if we get problems with the Japanese beetles, so I just wanted to quickly show you that we do as well, what that looks like, and what we use. These types of holes here, and all of this leaf damage, right there especially, that's what it starts looking like. So whenever we see the beetles on there, you can see one on there, and it's dead, really dead. So what I do is I actually spot treat these beetles right on them with organic spray. It's the Monterey. So I don't go and spray all of my stuff at once anymore. I just don't want to get rid of anything beneficial, and even if you're using something organic, if it hits a beneficial bug, it will kill it. If you are having to spray an entire area because you have so many, then do it at the end of the day when the sun is going down, so that way you're not hitting any of the bees, beneficials, and pollinators. But the only thing is that the beetles tend to be out during the day, and so that's the problem that we run into. And that's why I go ahead and I spot treat them. But as you can see, we have some damage too. So they usually get at least a couple leaves, but that's not too bad considering all of the zinnias that we do have. They love other flowers as well, but zinnias are definitely one of their favorites I have found. So right here I got 2 on our basil. I'm gonna give them a little spray right now. I always keep a hand pump sprayer available. Okay, there they are. See, just hit them and nothing else. And this right here is why you don't want to hit anything else, because bees are out right now pollinating. And as long as that spray dries, then it won't affect anything else. In this section over here, we have our snapdragons, and they have some bad flowers on them. And if you want your snapdragons to continue to produce a lot of flowers, I would recommend to take those off. Once you take off the bad flower, it allows the whole plant and all of these growths to bush out and get another beautiful time of blossoming. You can also keep it on if you want, and another shoot produces on top of the flower and comes up and gives you a whole nother flower. So if you really wanted to, you could remove half of them and then leave the other half to shoot up. So half will be cut off. It'll bush out and produce a ton in a little while. And what's really cool is once this pops up and gives you color, these continue to go bad. They'll continue to turn brown. Why is that good? Because they will hold hundreds of seeds that you can seed save in each one of these. You do not want to harvest them when they're green. They'll just look like white inside. You want to make sure that they are brown. So that way when you open them up, you can shake the seed out, and you'll be able to use that seed to create more snapdragons for next season. A lot of our heliochrysum are in bloom. This is right here is when I harvest it. That's when it smells the most. It smells so sweet, and it has this smell of fall, which is my favorite time, and I just love it so much. It reminds me of my childhood, and we grew it in so many different colors. It makes a perfect flower for arrangements, and these ones here too, they're so cute. I gotta smell this. They smell so good. Even the leaves, I love everything about the heliochrysum. It's gorgeous, it smells good, and it lasts so long in a bouquet. It's amazing. So say you just allow the flower to get bad and you want to seed save some heliochrysum, just allow it to get brown, and you'll actually start noticing, like, it'll look almost more like how a weed will turn real cottony, you know, like the dandelions. It'll get real cottony like and have all these seeds, and that's when you can harvest those seeds right off of the flower, and it creates so many seeds off of just one flower from that center. And it's so easy to seed save and seed start on your own. It's a great addition for cut flowers and for oils. The oils are super expensive. That's why we're going to try to create our own and kind of see what we do with it. Just kind of, you know, gotta have fun with it. And here's more of the heliochrysum. So an easier name for these is the straw flower, as you can tell. They sound like straw. And they're nice and dry like straw. They're just gorgeous. But I love growing all different colors of them. They're fun. And then we've got the cinnamon basil. Oh my gosh, that feels so like oily. That smells so good. Have you guys ever grown cinnamon basil? Let us know in the comments below. We grow it every year and I'm really excited. I'm gonna try to distill this one too. Everything I'm probably gonna try to distill, but it's just so much fun to grow all of these different plants for scents, and then learning deeper into them and what they can help and benefit with is just, it's just amazing. It's been an exciting year. In this garden over here, we're growing the Nigella eucalyptus. It smells the most fragrant, and you can like go like this and then your hands literally feel like a little sticky, kind of like oil, and they're so scented. I love it so much. But you know what? Eucalyptus isn't my favorite smell. I know a lot of people love it, maybe for the smell or for bouquets. I just like it for the plant. I think it's unique, even though we're still going to create a spray with it, but I just think they're awesome to grow. And we even have another eucalyptus up here. And this one's really cool too. I think this one is the silver drop. This one was started last year. And that one's getting nice and large now too. Our big sunflowers in the corner, that's where that big one was last year. And we didn't put any seeds in here this year, so those were seeds that were dropped last year, probably from the blue jays. It was their favorite spot to land throughout the whole winter. And they are just huge and gorgeous. But this one here too, this one's all solid yellow, but this one looks more like a traditional sunflower. That's kind of how the one looked last year. So it'll be interesting to see how much bigger these get and how much taller they get, because they're already huge. Well, we have a lot of parsley to harvest. This is around the time that I like to start harvesting some of it. And this we're just really gonna dry and have our own fresh parsley to use throughout the off seasons from the garden. Well, our peppers are doing good. We have lots of peppers on here. They're small yet. These ones are the lunchbox, so they're not like a large pepper. They're just more of a snack size pepper. Wow, look at all of them on here too. We're gonna be loaded with snack size peppers. The first ones turn red and they're usually the smallest ones, but they're good. This is usually Jason's job, to eat the food on camera for you. That's good. Oh my gosh. This is like sweet like candy. So we seeded our own lunchbox peppers this year, and we just did the orange and the red. The red are the sweetest to me. So good. There's a butterfly flying behind me here. This is that first batch of volunteer dill that we had. That's why it's really large. And yesterday I came out here and I just cleaned it up a little bit. We allow it to come super early for the black swallowtail butterflies. This is where they lay their eggs, and this is also where they like to come and eat before they cocoon it up. I just love butterflies. Butterflies love Verbena bonariensis. If you do not have Verbena bonariensis in your garden, it's definitely a must. Hummingbirds love it too. Bees love it. It's just so gorgeous. When you leave it in your gardens and allow the flowers to die out, it naturally has so many seeds per flower that they will fall into your garden and supply many volunteers for next year. All that means is that you'll probably have a lot of Verbena bonariensis reseeding itself. If you don't want that, then remove the bad flowers when they're done and don't leave them in your garden over the winter. But if you are okay with that, then this is the plant that you'd want to reseed in your garden. Trust me, it's such a magnet for beneficials and everything in the garden that's fun to watch. Once you're done eating your pepper, all of these seeds, save them. You can rinse them, let them dry, let them sit out, dry for a couple days on a piece of paper towel in a shaded spot that's cooler. And then you can package them in a little paper envelope. Make sure to mark them. Keep them in cool, dark, dry space like all of your seeds. And these you can save for next year. Look at how many seeds per pepper. Look at that, 15 seeds right there. So our patch of Nigella over here, which looks more like this really pretty blue flower, and it gets tons of these true blue beautiful flowers, and they're larger than that. This is just because they're starting to be finished now. But they end up getting these little balls where their flower was. And you want to allow those to stay on there, let them get completely brown, and then inside are all kinds of seeds. So I'm going to take one right here. Ooh. Yep, it's like paper. Do you see all of those seeds inside of there? Look at, they're just falling out. Look at all those seeds. Those are actually very beneficial antioxidant. You can grind these, put them in your smoothies, put them on your salads. They're really healthy. But what we also like to use them for is seed saving. So that way you can go ahead and seed them wherever you want. Or what we do is we take off the dead heads. We just kind of sprinkle them in here and they reseed themselves next year. This is the second year that this batch has returned on its own, and it doesn't return, you know, from a root. It returns from reseeding itself. St. John's wort over here, it's flowering. This would be a perfect time to start harvesting some of it. Here's our huge sun sugar tomato. It's looking so good and healthy. I don't do any trimming on these. They get too crazy and it's too much work to keep up with. But I just noticed there are a ton of tomatoes on here. We have some that are ripe. So Jason's gonna have to come out here and pick some later. He's the one that loves these tomatoes. I grow them for him, and they're a golden tomato like this. They're called sun sugar, and they're really the sweetest tomato. Jason loves those. It's just crazy. There's so many on the entire plant. Over here you notice an empty space. This is where we harvested the borage over here, and we have some fresh borage starting to seed up here. I love the way it looks. It draws in a lot of pollinators and beneficials, especially towards the end of the season. We're gonna need that. That's when the bugs get a little heavier. And then in the middle here, I did seed in some Pro-Cut sunflowers. It is not too late for Pro-Cut series. They germinate fast. They produce flowers fast, so that's a great addition to put in here. And in a week, they'll be nice in like a nice even, probably about a good 8 inches in here. I know it sounds crazy, but in 1 week, those will be about 8 inches in here, and it'll start being really filled in nice. The borage germinates super fast as well. I just seeded these 3 days ago, so if that tells you how fast these are. And then I also put some borage on that side too, so you'll have a nice height of borage coming out the sides, and you'll have the taller height of that Pro-Cut sunflower. It's a single blooming cut flower, and they're just really, really pretty. Over here are the bumblebee artesian tomatoes. I've never grown these before. I see that we've got some tomatoes. Look at that cute little striping on those. And then over here we have some that are ripe, so Jason's got some more new tomatoes, and I'm actually really excited to try these too. I don't love all tomatoes, but I a lot of times like the specialty ones. Like Pink Berkeley, an heirloom tomato, is my favorite. Over here on this end we have our carrots, and this year I did pelleted seed, and they're perfectly spaced. But I actually really liked when I just did, you know, regular seed, and there was a lot of them, so we could grab snacks whenever. But now I feel like I have to wait until they're fully grown in order to like pull them. That way, you know, we can get the most out of using this space. But I'm gonna, okay, that was a little tough guy. There we go. These are the bolero carrots. They're a perfect carrot for storing. That's really nice. Looks really good. It probably could have gone a little bit longer, but I don't spray our carrots, so if you harvest them earlier, that's better, because then you're not going to get any like more bug damage, because you'll start getting like little nicks and stuff. And the earlier that you pull them, the more tender they are. But with carrots too, a lot of times And this depends on the variety you're growing. The more cooler weather that it gets, so if they sit there when it's a little bit cooler, the more sweet they get. We already shared our calendula and how we harvest it and save the seeds, but there's so many here to harvest. Like this right here is the perfect one to harvest. We always rinse them off just to get any additional bugs off of there, and then we put them into our hanging dryers to dry. I'm really excited to use these for teas and topical lotions and things like that. So that'll be fun. That'll be a nice little winter project. I let a lot of them turn brown, and I know that it's not the most beautiful, appealing look. It looks a little dirty, a little messy on this edge and corner here. But the whole purpose here is to also save seeds. So this right here, all of these here, all of these are seeds. Look at how many seeds that carries. Look at how many new plants you can have next year. We never clean up our gardens before winter. We let it sit, so a lot of this will just sit, and then they germinate, and they give us a lot of volunteers next year, and that happens with a lot of the flowers. You just have to know a little bit more about what you're growing. Get to know your plants by growing them. Videos will help, but it's not going to be where you learn the most. You learn the most through hands-on with gardening and through actually growing something and seeing how it performs, how it gives back, and what it does all season from start to finish. That's how you truly get to know about your plants. A lot of times people are like, oh, you know your plants so well. I know the plants that we grow so well. I don't know about a lot of other plants that aren't in my garden. Like, I don't know a lot about tropicals, and that's okay, but I do know about the tropicals that I've grown. So that's kind of the difference. Always just get to know your plants that you're growing. Study them, sit with them, harvest them, save them, and they can tell you a lot. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video with all kinds of flower and vegetable tips back to back. A little bit we touched on with seed saving. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time.